Hi guys, this is Jenny Selly, your Greater Moncton realtor. 5 years ago, my husband and I decided to move with our family from Ontario to New Brunswick. It's been 5 years and I want to share with you what we have liked about living in the Maritimes, what we have not liked so much. But you're not just going to hear it from me. You're also going to hear it from my kids and my husband. And they'll tell you if we're ready to move back to Ontario. So if you're thinking about relocating, you want to watch this video before you make a move. I am here with the crazy person that just like me said yes to moving to New Brunswick, my husband, right. Martin. Why did you say yes?
I think I was just stuck in a routine back then of like every day so I would work downtown Toronto, and so like traveling to get to work was a little bit of a commute at times and a little bit challenging and long. So I was wasting a lot of time kind of just going back and forth, and you know, I kind of felt like every day was the same as the last, so I just kind of looked and said, something's got to change.
For those that don't know, Martin one day came to me, and I remember very clearly, it was December 26th, that you said, hey, the mayor of St. John is calling on Torontonians to move to New Brunswick.
Yep.
He showed me, it was a CBC report. We looked at it, this was December 26th, January, I believe, 16?
No, 19. Yeah.
We drove with the kids, with my mom. There was a storm as well, to Moncton to see homes with an amazing realtor, Megan Jones, and she showed us homes. We loved it. We went back, we put our home for sale, and we were in Sackville, New Brunswick within 6 months. Correct, so yeah, we're both equally crazy, but I think it was the best crazy decision we ever made, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So what do you love about New Brunswick?
So like I like the space. I like the outdoors. I like the fact that nature is so accessible here, and there's just so much of it. You know, we live near a lake, right? So just a block away from the lake. So in the summertime, there's canoeing and there's ways to get there. And in the wintertime, we've used it as our skating rink and for now. But then there's trails, and there's, you know, we're also fortunate that we have access to a cottage here by the ocean. So the beaches and everything like that. So that's definitely one of the things is nature. And then the other thing is time. Because, you know, you need time to enjoy all that stuff. And I think one of the greatest things that I've gained here was time. I mean, the lack of traffic in a lot of spaces makes commutes a lot easier.
Now, what do you miss about Ontario? Because, I mean, honestly, not everything is perfect. But what do you miss about Ontario?
So I guess I miss the fact that if I needed something, I could probably get it that day. You know what I mean? So if I woke up one day and I said I needed some kind of tool, and you know, the local home hardware didn't have it, or the local Home Depot didn't have it, you know, then there was a Lowe's, or there was 20 other shops around, and if not, there was 100 shops in the area. The entertainment too, like I know me and you, we select to go out a lot to dinners, and not to say that the restaurants here are not good, they are great, and they're growing, and the ones that we've gone to are absolutely delicious. But it's not just restaurants that I'm talking about. I'm talking about also sporting events, because I know that over there we'd go to watch a lot of Blue Jays games, and they were kind of on the whims, and we could just be there one day and just be like, hey, let's go watch a Blue Jay game today. So it was always something to do and stuff like that, whereas here you don't have that much entertainment.
So if somebody were to tell you, Martin, we're moving back to Toronto tomorrow, would you say yes, or would you say no?
Would I say yes or you know what, to be honest with you, every day is different, but today, right now, as it stands, I would say no. I have a lot to live for here. My kids love it here. I love being with my kids here.
So for those people that were like me and you, with kids, thinking about picking up and leaving family behind, leaving grandparents, leaving everybody behind, what would you tell them?
Coming out here and kind of seeing this whole new life for me was an eye-opener, and so yeah, I'd like to be able to share that with other people, because there is something so beautiful in the fact that there is so much time to do stuff here with, you know, with your loved ones and your hobbies and everything.
So any regrets about moving?
Missing the family like crazy. So I miss my family in Toronto, but other than that, no other regrets.
So I'm here with the youngest member of our family, Mateo. He was 4 years old when we arrived in New Brunswick. How old are you now?
I am 9 years old.
And what have you missed about Ontario? You might not remember much, but we have gone back several times. What do you miss about Ontario?
Like the big shops and stuff, and the professional sports like hockey.
So you're missing the Leaf games
Yeah.
and things like that. Okay. What else do you miss? So he doesn't miss much. What do you love about New Brunswick?
That all my friends go like to the same school.
Yeah.
That we have a hockey rink like 5 minutes away.
Yeah. Do you think kids are friendly here?
Yeah.
Yeah, are kids really friendly? Yeah. And do you play a lot of sports here?
Yeah, I
Okay.
have like I do hockey, basketball, soccer. I used to do swimming.
So that was something that we were not able to do with our kids in Ontario because, again, you spend so much time commuting and you don't have a lot of time after work to take them to the different activities. And over here, because there's not a lot of traffic, we've been lucky enough to be able to, like he said, take them to swimming, hockey. My daughter is in basketball as well. So all these
And
things, right?
volleyball.
And volleyball. She's in volleyball as
And
well.
swimming.
That's right. So she's in a lot of things. What else do you love about New Brunswick?
That we have a lot of property. Before, all I remember is like us having like that
No
big of land.
backyard. That's right.
Yeah.
So again, with the big cities, you don't have as much space as you're able to find here. So New Brunswick, we don't have as many people. That means that homes have a lot more space and bigger yards and bigger properties, right? Right now, would you move back to Ontario? Not talking about the future. Right now, as of today, somebody could say, Mateo, we're moving to Toronto tomorrow. Would you move?
No,
No, why not?
because I like it better here. I already have my friends here. I do a lot of more sports here. I didn't do that many. I didn't do a sport in Ontario.
You did judo.
I did judo, which
It's still a sport. Again, we didn't have the time to take you to all the things you can now do. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't move back. And what would you tell those kids that are maybe afraid because their parents are deciding to move here just like we did with you guys? What would you tell those kids?
honestly, I was panicking, but it's pretty good. I mean, we got a lot bigger house.
Affordability
And-
of homes, yeah.
Yeah, and it was. Ooh, yeah.
So what do you miss about Ontario? Do you miss your family?
All my cousins and family being there, like a drive away.
Thank you so much, Mateo. Now I'm joined by my daughter, Leila. Leila was 7. You turned 7 in New Brunswick,
Yeah.
right? What was the hardest thing about making that move from Ontario to New Brunswick for you as a kid? What was it?
I guess like not having that many friends or like making more friends. I was like more like shy when I was little.
So were you afraid that you were not going to make any friends when you moved here? Or you didn't make any friends when you moved here?
No, I was afraid that I didn't make any friends when I moved here.
So what happened when you came? First day of school, how was it? Were kids friendly? Were they not?
Yeah, they were pretty friendly. They were really nice. Yeah.
Did you realize that, okay, maybe I had nothing to worry about?
Yeah, a little bit. I made some friends on the first day of school.
Now, if there's a kid that's there watching, somebody your age watching right now, and their parents are thinking about the move just like we did, what would you tell those kids?
Just not to be nervous. Like, people are really friendly here and like you have nothing to worry about.
Okay, and what do you love about New Brunswick?
Everything's like, everyone's like so friendly and everything's so close. Like, you know, like almost everyone, and it's really nice.
And what do you miss about Ontario?
Like all the food and all the stores that they have. They don't have that a lot here. Like a bunch of food that I like, they probably don't have it here. Like panaderias and stuff like that.
Panaderias are actually Colombian bakeries, which we do miss our Colombian bakeries, but we have been getting a lot more Colombian products here. We've been making them at home, right?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody were to tell you, Leila, we are moving back to Toronto tomorrow, would you say yes or would you say no?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, so you love it here?
Yeah, I love it here.
All right, so now my turn as to what I have found to be pros and cons about New Brunswick. First of all, as my family mentioned, one of the cons I would say that you do not find a lot of things when it comes to purchasing things, buying items. Not that it's a big deal, but just to give you an example, for back to school, we tend to go back to either Ontario or we travel to Halifax just so we have more of a variety and choices and sizes for kids' clothing and shoes. However, you do have the option of online shopping, which everybody's doing. So it's not a huge thing, but it is something that I would consider that I miss about Ontario. Something that we were surprised when we moved when it comes to school. Kids in Ontario start at the age of 4, or as long as they turn 4 by the end of the year. Here in New Brunswick, your child starts school by the time that they turn 5. So they have to turn 5 in that calendar year, which means that they are at home an extra year, which is great as a parent. However, if you're a working parent, that means that you also have to make sure you have adequate daycare before, for that extra year if you're moving, which is exactly what happened to us when we moved here with my son. He was 4. We were convinced he was going to start school. He was convinced he was going to start school, but we had to keep him at home an extra year, or in daycare an extra year. Something else that I want to mention about the school system here, again, just a comparison of coming from Ontario to New Brunswick. In Ontario, you had French immersion. Over here, we do have French immersion, and you also have the full French schools, and those ones are mainly for Francophone families. It's a public school system. I know in Ontario that they also have the Catholic school system, so you will not find that here. I do know that there is a couple of Christian schools. They are private, so you do pay for those, but the school system here is public, no wearing uniforms for the kids. Another good thing about New Brunswick is how accessible prices for children's sports are, in my opinion, at least when it comes to comparing prices in Ontario and prices in New Brunswick. To sign up your children for soccer, hockey, basketball, things like that, I would say is almost half of what you pay in Ontario. So it's much easier to get your children here involved in sports. One of the pros about living in New Brunswick is that car insurance is much, much cheaper than at least what we were paying in Ontario. Just to give you an example, when we moved, or when we lived in Ontario, we were paying, I think, about $450 for one car. When we moved here, we bought a second car, and we were paying, at that time, I would say about $280 for 2 cars. So that made a huge difference. We have a much, much smaller transit system. If you live in Toronto, Mississauga, areas like that, you know that TTC or the transit system is accessible 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Well, over here, I do know that they close, I think, late at night. Yes, it is 7 days a week. However, it is a much smaller route. So having a car here is truly a necessity, unless you're living in downtown Moncton or in areas where you're going to get the transit system all the time. Again, it is not a huge route. So yeah, if you're moving out this way, do plan to have a car. Something that I get asked about a lot is the weather. A lot of people are afraid about the weather in New Brunswick, and I say have no fear. We actually have milder days in New Brunswick in comparison to Ontario. Our average here in the winter is -9. I know Ontario has colder weathers. What we do get more of is snow, but again, we are in Canada, so whether you're shoveling a little bit of snow or a lot of snow, you are going to end up shoveling snow. However, something that I do miss about Ontario is that we do not have many mosquitoes. When you move to New Brunswick, at least in the areas that we live in, which is the Greater Moncton area, live in Sackville, mosquitoes are out most of the summer up until even right now. As you see, we do have mosquitoes around, so I would say mid-fall. So sometimes you think you're just going to go out and enjoy the night in the patio. Well, you got to bring that bug spray because they are out there. There's a lot of them, and you are going to get bitten. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, share it with those people that you think will find it useful, and subscribe to my channel because I will be sharing more stories and more of our experiences, again, about what it is to relocate from Ontario to New Brunswick and just life in New Brunswick. As you saw, consensus for my family is that we are staying. We do love it. We have, completely changed our lifestyle here when it comes from big city to a smaller city. For us, a smaller town. We love what has come with it. Yes, we definitely miss things about Ontario, but we find way more reasons to stay. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you have any questions about life in New Brunswick, and as you know, I am a real estate agent, so if you have any questions about the real estate market, please feel free to reach out. I would love to help you out.